Supreme Court upholding a key provision of Arizona's tough new immigration law, at least holding up that provision for now. That part of the law calls for police to check the immigration status of people they stop. There's a simple way of putting it. There's some particular requirements that they have to follow before they do that. So we just want to keep that in mind. But overall, the ruling from the Supreme Court struck down the other parts of the law as unconstitutional. Now, 5 other states followed Arizona's lead and fashioned similar crackdowns on illegal immigrants. Utah is one of those states. And joining me now, Senator Mike Lee, a Republican from Utah. He's on the Senate Judiciary Committee. He also clerked for Supreme Court Justice Alito, which is part of the reason why maybe he's on the Supreme Court steps right there as he was awaiting these decisions today. So, Senator Lee, what does this mean for your state and for the law that you have in place now?
Well, with regard to states generally that are trying to tackle the immigration issue, it means that they'll have to be careful not to run afoul of what the Supreme Court has now said as a significant preemption precedent. It means it'll be more difficult for states to set their own penalties on conduct that's already against the law federally. I think this is an unfortunate decision, and it's one that the states will have to grapple with. It's one that, for reasons pointed out by the dissenters, especially Justice Scalia today, is problematic from an historical standpoint and from a constitutional standpoint.
Who's the winner?
Well, the winner is perhaps the Obama administration, who took the position that because Congress has spoken and the federal government has acted in the area of immigration generally, the states cannot act. And so they're the winner, but I think the American people, the state governments, have lost something today.
And what do you think we've lost?
Well, we've lost the ability for states to take problems that they themselves are facing and to do something about it. We have to remember that states face enormous burdens as a result of the federal government's failure to secure the border, as a result of the federal government's refusal to enforce federal immigration laws. They have to pick up the slack when it comes to providing services to those living within their states, including and especially illegal immigrants, and to tell the states that they are somehow powerless to do anything about it, when the federal government refuses, in many instances, to enforce those same laws, is itself very problematic for the people.
You know, the Wall Street Journal was writing up a review, and this is still coming in as everyone's looking through some of the information that's been put out there on the ruling on the immigration law. The Wall Street Journal puts it this way and says, basically, this is a win for federal sovereignty. And we've seen obviously the battle between state rights and federal rights, individual rights, the rights of the government. It's something that's played out as a theme. Something we've been talking a lot about over the last several weeks. Reuters said that basically this is a battle between Republican states and a Democratic administration. Would you phrase it that way?
I wouldn't phrase it that way. I would phrase this as a constitutional debate, a constitutional discussion that needs to go on. Now, as you pointed out, we've had a number of decisions over the years that have inured to the benefit of the federal government, that have given Congress more and more power, and often done so at the expense of the states. This is yet another one of those decisions. And it's not about the states themselves, it's about the people represented in the state legislatures. The people become less powerful whenever Congress becomes more powerful.
Quick question, what do you think this means for the health care law?
I'm not sure that this sends any signal necessarily with regard to which way the health care law is going. The health care law deals with a different question. It doesn't deal with preemption questions. It deals with the extent of Congress's power to tell the American people they have to buy something. That's completely unprecedented in American history, and so it's a very different set of circumstances. I don't think this sends a message one way or another.
Thank you for bringing your unique background to our conversation today, Senator Lee. It's nice to have you, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you, Jenna.